comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Cheapskate Coins video, and happy President's Day to everybody. I want to do a special video today on the Presidential Dollar Series for President's Day. So the Presidential Dollar Series started in 2007, and the Mints decided to do it because of the success of the State Quarter Series. So the thing the Mint didn't take into consideration was the fact that most of the prominent collectors just don't like the new dollar coins and haven't liked them since back when the Susan B. Anthony's were done. They said, well, some people say that it was because they were too small, they didn't like the way the planches looked, they didn't like the way the designs looked, they didn't like the fact that it was too close to a quarter. Which for some people, I'm sure some of these reasons were true. Me personally, based on what what I know of the more prominent collectors, and for the coin collecting vernacular, when you say more prominent, that means wealthy. So for the more wealthy collectors, that are the ones that really have the power collections and kind of control what coins are worth and how popular they're listed as and all that. I personally believe it's just because of the fact that they're not a big coin made out of silver that's almost an ounce of silver. That's my personal opinion on it, on why they don't like any of the new dollar coins. And then again, the same with if you look at all the rest of the coins and what prominent collectors say about a lot of the newer coins, for say quarters, half dollars, dimes, all of them, as soon as it cuts off not being silver anymore, suddenly it's like, oh yeah, they're not good coins, they're not collectible because they're not silver. So basically, they just want them to be made out of silver or gold, or they're not happy. That's my take on it. I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but that's my take. But anywho, enough of that rant. So they started in 2007, and the one rule that was done for that collection was that it could only be the presidents that have passed away. So no living presidents could be on these coins. So for that reason, the coins stopped at Ronald Reagan. Because, of course, Bush Jr., Bush Sr., Clinton, Obama, and, well, Trump wasn't president yet, but these are all people that are still alive. So they weren't allowed to be on the coins. So they did do the coins in order of the presidents. So you start off, of course, with George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison were the first 2007 year. There was 4 per year for every year except for 2016 because of the number of presidents that fit into it. Then you keep going through all the various years. You have all the different presidents. William Henry Harrison, a lot of people may not even know was a president. A lot of people forget about him because he was only president for like a week, or I think it was technically 3 weeks, because interesting story with him. He had a huge speech set up, and on the day of his inauguration, it was just downpouring in cold weather. And he made the decision to go outside without a coat or anything and still delivered his 3-hour speech in the cold rain. Well, as a result of that, he caught pneumonia, and 3 weeks later, he was dead. So that was a cautionary tale to the rest of the U.S. presidents after him. If it's raining and cold, hold your speech for later or take it inside. So you go through all the rest of the years, all the different presidents. Then at 2012, the men finally figured out that the series wasn't catching on the way that the State Quarter Series did. So in 2012, the presidential dollar switched to NISC, which means not intended for circulation. That means that there weren't billions of these things made that were sent out to banks in bulk. The only way that these were able to be gotten were if you ordered them straight from the mint in mint rolls, or if you bought mint sets. So from 2012 to 2016, all those presidential dollars are all NIFC, which means that there's a significantly smaller mintage of all of them. And in fact, we'll have a look here at Chester Arthur, and then since we're on this page, every presidential dollar and Sacagawea dollar has what's called Position A and Position B. And what that is the edge lettering on the coin. Bring you down here real quick. Okay, this one doesn't have it on it. But it's the positioning of the edge lettering. If wanted to say, if I remember correctly, actually, I want to make sure I give you guys the right information. So I'll tell you what it is in a minute. I want to go back to what I was doing. Okay. And of course, I pick one that doesn't have mintage numbers. Let's try a different one. Let's see. Let's go for Theodore Roosevelt. Let's see if he's got mintage numbers. Of course, again, you see position A and B. Nope, no mintage numbers. Alrighty. Oh, and if anybody says that these coins aren't worth money, it's just a random run. Theodore Roosevelt, Philadelphia Mint, position A, MS-68. Says worth 135 bucks. So, if you buy it for $1 and you sell it for $135, I call that worth something. And there are some of them in this collection that are worth a lot more than that. So let me go, I think, if I remember correctly, I think the Washington one has it. Let me go back up. Oh, if anybody's wondering, by the way, this is the PCGS Coin Facts page. I just want to make sure I find a proper... These have mintage. So, for example, the George Washington's mintage was 175 million for the position A, Philadelphia. And yeah, here we go. Position A will have the coin's edge lettering facing upside down when the president's portrait faces up. So that means if it's sitting face side up on your table and the edge lettering's upside down, that's position A. If it's facing right side up, it's position B. So that's how you tell position A and B for presidential and Sacagaweas. So we scroll all the way down. Again, starting in 2012, these are all your NIFCs. And now we're starting to get into some of the ones we all know really well: Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Nixon, Gerald Ford, who took over for Nixon, and Ronald Reagan for the final coin. See, there's a no mintage. I'll have to look up the mintage. I'm going to do a much larger video on the presidential dollars for you guys. I just wanted to do this quick video just, because it's President's Day. I know it's just me, but he looks kind of creepy on that picture to me. You notice none of these for the Reagans have been sold, so that anytime you're on PCGS Coin Facts, if it's all empty on the top row, these are the grade numbers that have been graded by PCGS, and the price guide would be based off of auction results, but nobody has graded and auctioned one of these, so there's nothing for them to reference, so that's why there's nothing there. So if you're the first person to get a Reagan, get it graded, and get it auctioned, then that'll give them a reference, and they'll fill something in on one of them. All right, so presidential coins, things to look for. Of course, all presidential coins have the chance of all, the basic die cracks and die chips and cuds and the cracked clad and all that. But these are some of the more major ones. The George Washington has 3 major that have been found. There is the missing or doubled edge inscription. So there are George Washington presidential dollars that the edge lettering is not there. It never went through the process of printing the edge lettering on. And then there's also versions of it where it got sent for some reason through the edge printing twice. So it has double edge inscription. It was actually printed on it twice. And then there's there's a known George Washington missing clad layer. The missing clad layer is the reverse on that coin. The reverse looks copper instead of the gold sheen. And then there's the known George Washington with a 93% rotated die. So that means, of course, for you new people, when you... Oh, let me grab a coin real quick. Just any coin. Okay. So for American coins, you have your heads. That's the obverse. And then if you flip it directly over, that's the tails, and it will be right side up. For a 93% rotated die, that means it's sitting about like that. So it's very, very off. And that's a big error. And George Washington so far is the only one that's been found on, but there's always a possibility there could be some out there that haven't been found for the others. So you always want to keep an eye out on all your coins for any errors, because you could be the person that discovers a new one. Alright, and then we've got the 2007 Philadelphia John Adams double edge lettering. Can be overlapped or inverted. So the way that happens is you have the planchet sitting like this, and it goes through the edge lettering machine, so it spins it as it's going and prints the whole thing. And then it either, for whatever reason, gets shot back through the system the same direction, in which case you have the doubled, or when it gets shot back in, the coin actually flips over, and then it prints the whole thing again, so you have it reversed. So you have one edge lettering that's the right way. Basically, you have position A and B on the same coin. And that has actually been found on the John Adams coins. So keep an eye out for that, because that's one of the big money presidential dollar coins. And then Zachary Taylor, the 2009 Zachary Taylor, has an error that you can find where it actually says 2010 printed on the date on the coin. So you want to make sure to watch all your Zachary Taylors on the edge lettering, because that's where the date and the mint mark and everything is. That it actually says 2009. That's the correct date. If it says 2010, that's an error. And in fact, if we go back to the coin facts, click back. Back again. Go up to 2009. 2009. There we go. 2009 Zachary Taylor. Click there. Go down to show all related coins and varieties. It's got the overlap. I don't have a picture of it, but you get the idea. For MS65 for the overlap is sold for $300. So that's pretty good. An MS64, you'll notice that there's no population down here, which means that was probably graded by NGC or Annex. It just means that PCGS was not the company that graded it. So they have not graded one that graded a 64, and a 65 is the highest they've ever graded. So if you were to have one graded, if you find one that's got the error on it for the double edge lettering overlap, and is better than a 65, that means it's going to sell for more than $300. If you get lucky and you get one up in the 67, 68 range, it could be well into the thousands. So keep an eye out for those. So that's the presidential series and some of the things to look for. Me personally, I think it was a very underrated series. I liked the presidential coin series. I liked the way they looked. I liked the idea of it. I liked the history behind it. You know, because you get to learn the history of the presidents if you take the time to actually look them up, which is cool. Any collector that doesn't pay attention in history class but decides they're going to collect the entire series and learn about the entire series is going to learn all the presidents. They'll be able to tell you all the presidents in order. So I think it was a cool series. It was a very neat idea. And I've actually had the thought that in 2021 is going to be the final year for the America the Beautiful Quarter Series, and they want to extend it out somehow. They're trying to think of ways to extend it out because they've had such good luck with the special quarter series. And since they did the presidential dollars, if I could find a way to contact them, I think I might actually submit the idea to them of doing the quarter series for doing the vice presidents. Put all the vice presidents on there so they can get get their name recognized. I think that would be a neat idea. Granted, they're probably going to go with like capital cities or something. But if they decide to do it after that, doing the vice presidents would be a cool idea. We've had some very reputable and notable vice presidents. One of them being right here, Gerald Ford. When Richard Nixon resigned, when he was going through the impeachment process because of the whole Watergate thing, it was Gerald Ford who was the vice president who took over for him. So, a lot of notable presidents, or vice presidents. A couple of them became president. Because there was, of course, going back up. Ooh, too far. Too far. There we go. You had, when Kennedy was assassinated, you had, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong on the history here, but I believe it was Lyndon Johnson who was the vice president who took over for Kennedy. And then, going back to the one I was telling you about before, back in the 07s, I believe. 07 or... No, he was not 07. There we go. William Henry Harrison. And of course, when he died because of the flu, then it was his vice president, which I believe was, since these are in orders, it's going to be John Tyler, was his vice president and took over for him and pretty much was president for his entire term. So I think a vice president series would be cool. So, again, hopefully everybody has had a good President's Day. I did see some people post up some pictures of going out doing some sledding in the snow, and people I'm sure out there are probably having some barbecues and whatnot. So hopefully everybody's having a good President's Day, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Again, I will do a much more extensive presidential dollar coin video in the future. If you liked this video, subscribe to our channel, click the thumbs up, hit the little notification bell so you know when our videos pop up. We're working towards our 500 sub giveaway. We're currently sitting at 153 subs. We've already announced 2 of the prizes. At 200, we're going to announce prize 3. At 300 subs, we'll announce prize 4. At 400 subs, we'll announce prize 5. And then, of course, at 500 subs, we'll do the giveaway as a thank you to all of you. So, make sure that you let people know to come and sub to our channel, because the quicker we get there, the quicker you guys have a shot at getting some cool free coins. Alright, so until our next video, this is Cheapskate Coin saying have a great day, have a great week, and signing off.